I'm sitting in my small, quiet apartment when my phone rings, shattering the stillness. My heart sinks as I see Mom's name on the screen. I pick it up, and before I can even say hello, her voice booms through the speaker. "You're a terrible daughter, Lisa. How could you do this to me?" I freeze, my grip tightening around the phone. My mind races. What have I done now? "What are you talking about, Mom?" I ask, my voice shaky. "You know exactly what I mean," she snaps. "After everything I've sacrificed for you, you couldn't even get me a first-class ticket for this trip. What kind of daughter treats her mother like this?" Her words hit me like a punch. I lean against the kitchen counter for support, trying to steady myself. "Mom, I paid for the whole trip," I say, forcing my voice to stay calm. "The flights, the hotel, the guided tours, everything. Do you know how much time and money I put into making this perfect for you?" She scoffs, dismissing me with a sharp tone. "And yet you couldn't do this one tiny thing to make it special. Honestly, Lisa, I don't know what's wrong with you. Your sister Emily would have done it without hesitation." My name is Lisa, and for as long as I can remember, I've felt like I'm never good enough for my mom. Growing up, I was the responsible one, the kid who got straight A's, worked hard, and built a solid career in graphic design. I saved every penny I could, always planning for the future. Meanwhile, my sister Emily was the favorite, the one everyone adored. She's sweet and charming, and somehow she could do no wrong in Mom's eyes. This trip to Italy wasn't just a vacation. It was my chance to show Mom I care, to mend the distance between us. I thought it might prove I'm not the cold, ungrateful person she often makes me out to be. I spent years saving for it, skipping my own getaways, cutting back on dinners out, working overtime just to afford the flights, a fancy hotel in Rome, private tours of historical sites, and tickets to an opera she'd always wanted to see. I planned every detail with care. But now, none of that seems to matter. All she can focus on is that her seat isn't in first class. "Mom," I say, trying to keep my composure, "I thought you'd love this itinerary. It's an incredible trip. You'll have the time of your life." Her response is icy. "Not in economy, I won't." Her words sting, but I bite my tongue. I refuse to let her see how much it hurts. "Well, I hope you enjoy it anyway," I manage to say before hanging up, afraid I might snap if I keep talking. Later that day, I drive her to the airport. As she steps out of the car, her final words cut deep. "Maybe one day you'll grow up and learn how to treat people right," she says, walking off into the terminal without even looking back. Driving home, her harsh tone echoes in my head, each word sharper than the last. But by the time I pull into my parking spot, something shifts inside me. If she thinks I'm such a terrible daughter, maybe it's time she sees just how wrong she is. Back in my apartment, I collapse onto the couch, her words still looping in my mind. "Maybe one day you'll grow up." I stare at the wall, a lump rising in my throat, but I swallow it down. I'm not going to cry over this. I've worked too hard for this trip, sacrificed so much. I skipped vacations, turned down invitations from friends, and picked up extra freelance projects just to save enough. I wanted to give her something extraordinary, a chance to see the world beyond her small, routine life in our hometown. I thought it would make her happy, maybe even proud of me for once. Instead, she called me selfish, humiliated me, and marched off without a single thank you. This isn't the first time. My whole life, Mom has had a knack for turning everything into a jab at my flaws. If I got an A on a test, she'd ask why it wasn't an A+. If I landed a promotion, she'd hint that Emily would have climbed the ladder faster. And Emily, always Emily, was the golden child. She doesn't have a steady job, doesn't pitch in with money, but somehow she's the perfect one, the daughter who makes time for Mom while I'm always scrambling to measure up. I thought this trip would be different, a big gesture to show her, "Look, I care, look at everything I've done for you." Instead, it's just another chance for her to tear me down. I open my laptop and pull up the confirmation email for her flights. 2 economy tickets, round trip, chosen carefully to be comfortable without draining my savings. For a fleeting moment, I consider canceling the whole thing. But I can't. The hotel and tours are non-refundable, and I've put in too much effort to throw it all away, even if she doesn't appreciate it. Then my eyes catch a small option on the screen. Manage booking. I notice I can cancel just the return flight at no cost. It wouldn't ruin her vacation, she'd still have her dream trip to Italy. But when it's time to come home, she'd be on her own. My finger hovers over the button. Is this too far? Is it mean? Then I hear her voice again in my head. You're selfish. You're a terrible daughter. The doubt vanishes. With one click, the screen updates and a confirmation email pings into my inbox. The return flight is canceled. For the first time in a long time, I feel a spark of control. The next few days pass quickly, but I can't escape reminders of the trip I poured my heart into planning. Mom doesn't call after she lands in Rome. I'm not surprised. Instead, she floods her social media with posts about her unforgettable Italian adventure. The first photo shows her grinning outside the airport, captioning it, "Dreams coming true," and tagging everyone she knows. I roll my eyes and set my phone down. Day after day, she shares more. Snaps of the luxurious hotel, stunning views of ancient ruins, plates of pasta and gelato she's clearly staged for the perfect shot. Her captions are full of fake gratitude, but I see through it. She doesn't mention me after that first post, but the smugness in her updates is obvious. Part of me wants to call her out, to expose how she's praising the trip online while she insulted me in private. But I hold back. I stay silent, letting her bask in her moment, because I know what's coming. On the third day, she posts a video from a sunset boat tour along the Amalfi Coast. Truly a once-in-a-lifetime experience, she says, raising a glass of wine to the camera. By now, I'm not scrolling through her posts out of curiosity. I'm waiting. Each update feels like a countdown to the moment she realizes her return flight is gone. I can't help but imagine her reaction. Will she think it's a mistake? Will she yell at the airline staff or try to guilt me into fixing it? Either way, it's not my problem anymore. But what will she do when the truth sinks in? Stick around, because the real drama is just around the corner. The night before her supposed return, my phone pings with a text from Emily. Mom's been messaging me nonstop about how amazing the trip is. She said you planned it all. I stare at the screen, unsure if I should reply. Emily doesn't know about the canceled flight or the years of hurt that led to this moment. To her, everything seems fine. Glad she's having fun, I type back. It's not a lie. I am glad she's enjoying herself. But what I'm really waiting for is the fallout at the airport. For once, Mom is going to face the consequences of her attitude, and maybe, just maybe, she'll see how much her words have hurt me. The day of her return arrives, and I'm a bundle of nerves mixed with anticipation. I know this is when everything will come crashing down. Around midday, my phone buzzes. Her name flashes on the screen. I take a deep breath and answer. Hi, Mom. Lisa! Her voice is sharp, almost frantic. Why is my flight canceled? I almost smile at how fast she cuts to the chase. What do you mean? I ask, pretending to be confused. You know exactly what I mean, she snaps. I tried to check in, and the airline says my ticket doesn't exist. What's going on? Oh, that, I reply, keeping my tone light. Yeah, I canceled it. Her gasp is so loud I can almost feel it through the phone. You canceled it? Why on earth would you do that? Because, Mom, I start, my voice steady now. I wanted you to feel what it's like to be let down. You made it very clear how you see me as a daughter. What are you even talking about? She demands, her tone softening just a bit. You called me a terrible daughter, I remind her. After all I did for you, after years of saving and planning every part of this trip to make it special, you didn't even say thank you. Instead, you insulted me. So, I'm done. Done? She echoes, her voice rising again. What does that mean? You're just going to leave me stuck here? You're not stuck, I say plainly. You have options. Book another flight. Or maybe Emily can help. But this isn't my responsibility anymore. Her tone shifts from anger to pleading. Lisa, please, I don't have the money for a new ticket. I can't believe you'd do this to me. I'm your mother. I let her words linger for a moment before responding. Figure it out, Mom. You've always told me to grow up and handle my own problems. Now it's your turn. Before she can say more, I hang up and set the phone down. My heart is racing, but beneath the nerves, there's a quiet strength. I'm not bending to her anymore. The calls and texts start flooding in soon after. Lisa, you can't leave me here like this, one voicemail rants. Do you know how embarrassing this is? I'm at the airport trying to explain why my flight isn't showing up, and the staff are staring at me like I'm insane. Another message whines. How could you do this to your own mother? What will people think if they hear you abandoned me in Italy? I read each text and listened to every message, but I don't budge. Her words don't carry the same power they once did. They feel like desperate attempts to pull me back under her control, but I'm not falling for it. By the afternoon, her tone changes. The calls slow down and her texts turn into pleas. Lisa, I'm sorry for what I said. I didn't mean it. Please, just help me get home. Do you want me to beg? Fine, I'm begging. I can't afford a ticket and I don't know what to do. I read her messages carefully, trying to figure out if she means it or if this is just another trick. After years of her emotional games, I've learned not to trust her apologies at face value. A tiny part of me feels guilty. She's my mom, after all. She raised me, supported me in her own messy way. Does she deserve this? But then I remember her words at the airport. Maybe one day you'll grow up. The guilt fades. By evening, her desperation peaks. Lisa, I'm sleeping on a bench at the airport. I have no way home. I can't stay here. Please, I'm begging you. For a split second, I almost reach for the phone, but I stop myself. This isn't just about the trip or the canceled flight. It's about years of being dismissed, criticized, made to feel small no matter how much I give. If I rescue her now, nothing will change. Instead, I text Emily. Mom's having trouble getting home. If you want to help, go ahead. I'm done. Emily calls right away, her voice a mix of frustration and worry. Lisa, what's going on? Mom says you canceled her ticket. I did, I say calmly. She called me a terrible daughter and treated me like dirt after I paid for this entire trip. I'm tired of sacrificing for someone who doesn't care. She can sort this out herself. Emily sighs. I get it, but isn't this a little extreme? No, I say firmly. This is exactly what she needs. The next morning, my phone is oddly silent. I wonder if she's figured something out. Maybe Emily stepped in, or maybe Mom found another way. Either way, I'm not going to check on her. But just before noon, a new text pops up. Lisa, I don't know what else to say. I know I've hurt you, and I've been unfair. I just want to come home, please. It's the most sincere message I've gotten from her in years. I stare at the screen, torn between relief and doubt. Is this real, or just another ploy? She's said sorry before, only to slip back into her old ways once the crisis passed. But I also think about the weight I've carried for so long, the endless efforts to prove myself to someone who never seemed to notice. This isn't just about a ticket. It's about showing her I won't be walked over anymore. I take a deep breath and type my reply. Mom, I'll book you a flight home, but this is the last time I'm doing something like this. If you can't treat me with respect, don't expect me to keep jumping through hoops for you. Her response comes instantly. Thank you. I'll do better, I promise. I'm not sure I believe her, but I book the ticket anyway. This isn't about trusting her. It's about closing this chapter on my terms. When I send her the flight details, her gratitude is quick. Thank you so much, Lisa. I mean it. I feel a small flicker of satisfaction. For once, I've stood my ground and set a boundary I should have drawn years ago. 2 days later, I'm at the airport to pick her up. I could have let her take a cab, but something in me wants to see this through, to face her reaction in person. As I wait at the arrivals gate, I spot her walking toward me. She looks different. Her usual confident stride is gone, replaced by a slower, almost cautious walk. She clutches her bag tightly, her face a mix of exhaustion and something I can't quite place. Is it humility? Hi, Mom, I say as she nears. Hi, she replies softly, glancing at me like she's unsure how to begin. The drive home starts in silence. The tension hangs heavy, but I'm not breaking it. Finally, as we merge onto the highway, she speaks. Lisa, I owe you an apology. I glance at her, caught off guard by her tone. It's not the half-hearted sorry I expected. It sounds real. For what? I ask, keeping my voice even. For how I've treated you, she admits. You didn't deserve it. You've always worked so hard to look after me, and I never appreciated it like I should have. I'm sorry. Her words stun me. I've imagined hearing this for years. but now that it's happening, I don't know how to react. Thank you, I say after a pause. I appreciate you saying that. I mean it, she continues. This trip made me realize how much you've done for me over the years. When I was stuck at that airport, I thought about all the times you've helped me, even when I didn't deserve it. And I realized you were right to cancel that ticket. I needed to see what it's like to handle things on my own. I'm at a loss for words. Part of me wants to trust her, but another part fears this is just a temporary shift, a fleeting moment before she reverts to her old self. I'm glad you see that now, I say finally. She nods, staring out the window. I know I can't erase the past, but I want to try to be better for you. When we reach her house, she hesitates before stepping out. Lisa, thank you for everything. For the trip, for getting me home, and for putting up with me all these years. I know I've made it hard. I nod. You're welcome, Mom. But from now on, things have to change. I'm not going to let you treat me the way you have. If you want to be in my life, it has to be as equals. She gives a small smile. That's fair. As I drive away, a weight lifts from my shoulders. I've taken control of this relationship, not out of anger, but out of respect for myself. Maybe she'll change, maybe she won't. But for now, I've set the boundaries I need to protect myself, and that's enough. The days following her return feel strangely peaceful. For years, my bond with Mom has been a source of constant stress, a battlefield where I always ended up wounded. But now, there's a sense of closure, like I've shut a door I should have closed long ago. Still, I can't help but feel a mix of emotions. I'm relieved, even proud, for standing up for myself. Yet, I wonder what's next. Will Mom really change? Or is this just another cycle of empty promises? A week later, she calls. Hi, Lisa, she says, her voice unusually gentle. How are you? I'm fine, I reply, curious about her intent. I just wanted to check in, she says. I've been thinking about our talk about what you said in the car. I stay quiet, letting her continue. I know I've taken you for granted, and I know it'll take time to repair things between us, but I want you to know I'm serious about trying. Her words sound genuine, but I've learned to keep my hopes in check. I hope so, Mom, I say. Because I meant it. I'm not going to keep sacrificing for someone who doesn't value me. I understand, she says softly. Over the next few months, things feel different. Mom doesn't call as often, and when she does, our chats are more balanced, even pleasant. The passive-aggressive jabs and guilt trips are gone. It's not flawless. Sometimes I catch hints of her old habits, a snarky comment or a subtle dig. But each time I stand firm, calmly reminding her of my boundaries. To my surprise, she starts correcting herself. Sorry, she'll say almost sheepishly. I didn't mean that. It's a small shift, but it feels meaningful. Meanwhile, I turn my focus inward. For years, I poured my energy into earning her approval, trying to prove I was enough. Now I see I don't need it. I start taking care of myself, physically, emotionally. I reconnect with friends I've ignored, pick up hobbies I've neglected, and even plan a solo trip, one that's just for me, not to please anyone else. I also grow closer to Emily. She's always been tight with Mom, but now she seems to get my perspective. I think you did the right thing, she tells me over coffee one day. Mom needed that wake-up call. Honestly, I think it's made her better. The next time Mom calls, it's not to ask for anything. I just wanted to say thank you, she says, for everything you've done. I know I haven't said it enough. Her words catch me by surprise, but they feel different this time, less forced, more real. You're welcome, Mom, I say, a small smile forming. Our call ends without strain or bitterness. It's not a perfect bond, and I know it never will be, but it's a beginning. We're moving forward not because I've caved to her, but because I've finally learned to stand up for myself. The weeks after Mom's return mark a turning point, not just in our relationship, but in how I view myself. For so long, I tied my worth to her opinion, bending over backward to make her see my value. Now I realize I don't need her validation to feel complete. Setting boundaries wasn't just about shielding myself from her, it was about reclaiming my self-respect. Our relationship isn't ideal, but it's evolving. Mom is making an effort, in her own way. Her sharp edges are still there, but they don't wound as deeply. She thinks twice before speaking, often catching herself mid-sentence. And I'm stronger. When she makes a snide remark about my new apartment decor during a call, I don't let it pass. I like it, I say confidently, and that's what counts. She pauses, then chuckles softly. I guess it does. It's not much, but it's progress. More importantly, I stop letting her opinions shape me. I focus on my own joy, reconnecting with old pals, diving into passions I'd set aside, setting personal goals. I feel like I'm living for myself, not for her approval. In that newfound freedom, I discover a piece I didn't know I was missing. It's not about whether she changes, it's about the fact that I have. A month later, I'm on my balcony, sipping tea as the sun sets. Life feels calmer, less tangled with doubt and tension. Mom still calls weekly, but our talks have a different tone. She's less demanding, more considerate. I notice small things. She asks about my job, my friends, my weekend plans. For once, it doesn't feel like she's just waiting to speak. It's not perfect, but it's something. One evening, she surprises me with words I never expected. You know, Lisa, she says quietly, I've been thinking a lot about everything you've done for me. That trip, how you handled it all. I see now how much I've taken you for granted over the years. Her sincerity hangs in the air. I want you to know I'm trying, she adds. I know I've hurt you, and I can't undo that, but I want us to have a better relationship if you're willing to give me a chance. I don't answer right away. I let her words settle, wondering if this time they might hold weight. Thanks, Mom, I say eventually. I appreciate that. It's not the dramatic apology I once craved, but it doesn't need to be. I'm not seeking perfection anymore, I'm looking for effort. As I hang up, I realize that while she may never fully change, I have. And that's enough. I don't need her approval to feel worthy. I've found it within myself.